May you find happiness and peace, and may your home stand the test of time.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary. Today I'll be reacting to Kirk destroy transgender Marxist activists. So without further ado, let's get started.
Look, are we going to ignore the fact that the founding fathers were incredibly racist? Do you think that they were...
Oh, okay, so you think they were racist.
Of course they were racist.
So then why did they try to
Where'd
abolish
George
slavery?
Washington get his teeth?
Okay, so how many states decided to make the Northwest
actually,
Territories...
answer this question. Answer this question. Where did George Washington get his teeth?
They were blended individuals. No doubt. Mixed. But you know what you and I both have in common?
No, I want to answer the question because I want to make sure that your audience knows
I would
exactly
assume
where
that he
George
probably
Washington
got them.
his teeth.
So to make him look bad, you're going to say he got him from a slave or he exploited somebody. But here's the truth about George Washington.
He ripped teeth out of people's heads while they were alive. He ripped teeth out of people's heads.
Here's the truth about George Washington.
To put in his mouth.
Outside of your Nicole Hannah-Jones highly emotive argument, everybody has something in common. We're born into a world we didn't create, and every one of these founding fathers were born into a world where slavery was everywhere. By the time they died, it was on its way out.
Do you know
That's
what
an
Thomas
incredible
Paine said about
moral
slavery?
good.
It wasn't on its way out when they were all dead.
Hold on a second. How many states abolished slavery by the time the Constitution was?
Thomas
How
Paine
many
said
states
about
abolished slavery by 1787? 9 out of 13. So a majority of states had already abolished it. Northwest Territories.
Why'd they structure the Constitution in such a way to give slave states more representation?
Happy to walk through it. Northwest Territories, first act of Congress, free or slave area? Free. Unanimous. Article 6 of the Northwest Territory. First state to abolish slavery, Vermont, 1777, inspired by the writings of the Declaration. First anti-slavery convention, 1775, chaired by Benjamin Franklin.
When is slavery?
George Washington said it's not a question of if, it's a matter of when we abolish slavery. Thomas Jefferson admonished King George in the original draft of the Declaration of Independence,
that means very
saying
little.
that slavery is a great evil that we blame King George for.
He was also very
Thomas
angry.
Jefferson abolished the slave trade into America. Hold on a second.
For telling them they couldn't keep killing indigenous folks.
Thomas Jefferson said very clearly in the Virginia House of Commons in 1790 that we must abolish slavery. He abolished the importation of new slaves as one of his first acts of president in March of 1807. The founding fathers fought tooth and nail to abolish slavery. So you have a misrepresentation, an intentional polemical argument to try to misrepresent the great heroes of the founding fathers.
When they banned the importation of slaves, what happened?
What ended up happening was the slave trade went down, Eli Whitney creates the cotton gin, and a whole new debate of slavery gets reignited.
No, see, that's actually not true, right? The reality is, do you know what happened? The slave trade, I guess, went down, if you're talking about international trade. The United States set up literal farms where human beings were bred. Human beings were bred and forced
slavery
to get
was going down dramatically in the 18 teens.
Slavery.
18 teens, it's going down. 9 out of 13 states
wait,
had abolished it.
You were talking about the 1770s, and now all of a sudden we're at the 18 teens.
Guess what?
We just
guess what?
50
Guess what?
years.
Thomas Jefferson was president in 1807. So you got to get your years right, okay, before we talk about this. So he was sworn in March of 1807. He was governor of Virginia in 1790. Wrote the Declaration in 1776.
So when did slavery end in the United States?
Great question. It began to end in 1777, a process of decoupling from an ancestral evil, where we have more people in the world right now that are slaves today than back then. The process began 1820s. The debate reignites because of John C. Calhoun, the creation of the cotton gin. We fight a war over it. We win the war, and slavery is abolished. That's a pretty awesome track record for a country that inherited an evil that every other country prior to it had. It was the West that got rid of slavery. It was William Wilberforce. It was John Edwards. It was George Whitefield. It's easy to kind of do your thing like, well, it's terrible, it's bad. Yes, it's easy to call balls and strikes on a society you didn't create. It's easy to try to lecture the rest of the country, be like, you know, these people are so terrible for something you didn't toil for or sacrifice for. Have an ounce of gratitude for what these people created and the country you get to live in.
Okay. But he has a very wicked laughter. Like, why would you be laughing that way? Anyway, I feel like this guy made Charlie upset, you know, because it's kind of a heated debate. Charlie is the kind of guy I know that, you know, he avoid anything slavery. You know, when you bring up the topic, he just tries to just brush it away, because he knows it's not something he's proud of. You know, it has happened, and he's trying not to, you know, put his mind there anymore. He's trying to just let bygone be bygone. And with this kind of interviewer, he finds it difficult to let go of it. But I know, yes, slavery happened back then, and it's not a funny thing, because, you know, even if we have different color of our skin, we are all human. Okay, you don't sell your fellow human to because you need labor force and stuff. And I know, yeah, that was what was in vogue then. That was what everyone was venturing into, and I won't blame them 100%. You know, I just blame the inhuman behavior or inhuman way they treated those slaves. You know, you getting someone to work for you, it's normal. That is what is happening now. This modern day society, we modernize slavery. We try to, you get the means of production, or you get enough money, you employ people, you pay them to work for you. It's not, maybe it's a way of you getting what you want to be done, but this time around you're paying them for their service. And I think back then, assuming those slaves were treated well, it would have been a bit, better right now, because now people would have been saying, yes, they were treated well, but the state in which those slaves were being kept wasn't nice at all. When they died, they throw them into the Atlantic Ocean. They don't really treat them as human beings. They made it look like we're two different people, the higher class and lower class, but we are all human. Okay, but I think what Charlie is trying to say is, yes, that the Western world indulged in slavery, which every other person did. They all indulge in slavery. So at least they were the first to abolish it, and they abolished it in different states, and it stood, out of I think 13 states. I think 9 abolished it like quickly, and I think even if it's something that Charlie is not proud of. That's what I've observed from this. Like, he's super not proud of it. He feels like, yes, it's not supposed to happen, but yes, it has happened. Okay, and this guy is trying to just pin it at Charlie, especially when he spoke about these teeth that were removed from the skull and stuff like that. But I think it's back then, it's happening. Okay, it has happened, and we are all looking at the present, the future. What is happening right now? What is happening in the nearest future? Let's let go of the past, because each time I remember slavery, I remember going to the castle, what they call castle, but I see it as dungeon that they have in West Africa, especially in Ghana. They have several dungeons in Ghana. The one in the northern part of Ghana, the one in the southern part of Ghana, that slaves were being imprisoned. It's not a good place to see. So most times when I see people talking about slavery and they've not been to the shore of Africa, they've not witnessed where these people kept human being, I feel like you don't just start preaching something you've not seen. You need to come to Africa. You need to see where these people were kept. You need to see the condition they were being kept. You need to see things for you to believe. I understand that was what was happening back then, and everyone was profiting from it. And I won't blame anyone, because I was not there. I was not born then. So I cannot say, okay, assuming I was born then, this is what I would have done. But the truth is, we are all living freely now. Charlie said there's high number of slave trade happening now, and I'm wondering where, in which country, where is slave happening? Like, which people are being held captive or used as slave? It's not happening anymore. It's abolished almost everywhere in the world. Anyway, this is a brief one coming from Charlie. I love this, and I love their dialogue anyway. And it's kind of a sensitive topic though, but I feel like Charlie did his best to let this guy understand that, yes, they are not shying away from the fact that they had a role to play in slave trade. They're just letting us know that, yes, they abolish it, they are done with it, and they realize that it's inhuman, and they decide to put an end to it. And they were kind of the first people to do that before other people started following. So it's a good thing to write about, because let's say, assuming they did not stop, maybe by now would have still been practicing it. Okay, let me know what you think in the comment section. If it is your first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and remember, bless.